Let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about something I know a lot of you have experienced, trying to build a career here in the UK as a multicultural professional. You've got the skills, you've got the experience, but for some reason it just feels like something isn't clicking. We're going to get into exactly why that is.
Does this feel familiar? You know, that sense of frustration, that feeling like you're playing a game but you haven't been given the rule book? I want you to know you are definitely not alone. It's a really common feeling, and it's not just in your head. There are real, invisible barriers that can trip you up if you don't know they're there.
So let's talk about these unwritten rules. The most important thing to get right off the bat is that the challenges you're facing probably have nothing to do with your talent or your qualifications. It's all about learning to navigate a brand new system, one where the most important rules aren't written down anywhere.
Think about it this way. Imagine you're a fantastic driver. You've been driving for years, but then you move to the UK, and suddenly you're on the left side of the road dealing with roundabouts everywhere. You haven't forgotten how to drive, right? Of course not. But your confidence takes a massive hit because the system is unfamiliar. The job market is exactly the same. Your confidence isn't about ability, it's about learning the new rules of the road. And these are some of those invisible walls we're talking about. Networking anxiety, that feeling that you're asking for some kind of unfair favor. Or maybe you're worried that your qualifications from back home aren't really understood here. Then there's self-promotion discomfort. That feeling that talking about your achievements is just boastful, especially if you come from a culture where modesty is the norm. And all of this, it just feeds that little voice in your head, that imposter syndrome, telling you you don't really belong. This brings us to a huge one. One of the biggest mental shifts you have to make is around networking. In so many cultures, using your connections feels kinda wrong, doesn't it? Like you're cheating the system. But here in the UK, it's not about getting an unfair advantage. It's the main way you make your skills and your capabilities visible to the right people. It's a core professional strategy, not a personal favor.
So the big question, how do you actually break through all these barriers? Well, it all starts inside. Before you touch your CV, before you practice a single interview question, you've got to shift your mindset. This is so important. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "Oh, I'm just terrible at interviews," or "I'm just not a natural networker"? A growth mindset flips that on its head. It says, these things aren't fixed parts of your personality, they are skills. And just like any skill, whether it's learning an instrument or cooking a new dish, you can get better at it with the right strategy and a bit of practice.
And while we're at it, let's talk about rejection. It is so easy to take a no personally, to let it mean I'm not good enough. But what if you saw it differently? What if every rejection wasn't a verdict on your worth, but just a piece of data? It's feedback. It's information that's telling you what you might need to tweak for the next application. It's not failure, it's just redirection.
You know, most people have this completely backward. We think, okay, once I have the great job, then I'll do the important work, and then I'll be a confident professional. But that just keeps you stuck waiting. The real key is to flip it. Start with B. Embody the mindset of the professional you want to become, right now. From that place of being, you do the strategic things that person would do. And naturally, you'll start to have the results you want.
All right, so mindset, check. Now let's get practical. It's time to actually build your strategic toolkit for tackling the job search head-on.
A great strategy really boils down to these 3 pillars. It looks simple, but it's incredibly powerful. First, you need total clarity on what you bring to the table. Second, you have to know where the real opportunities are hiding. And third, you've got to be able to communicate your value in a way that UK employers will actually respond to. A fantastic place to start is with a simple SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, I know this might sound like some corporate jargon from a business textbook, but trust me, it's a super practical way to get clear on where you stand. Being really honest here gives you a roadmap, what to emphasize, what to work on, and where you fit into the market right now.
Okay, now this next slide might just be the most important piece of information in this entire breakdown. About 70%, 70, of all jobs in the UK are never advertised publicly. They are filled through referrals, through networks, through the hidden job market. So think about it. If you're only applying to jobs you see online, you are missing out on 70% of the opportunities. This is exactly why networking isn't just a nice to have, it is absolutely essential.
This is such a classic trap on a CV. It shouldn't just be a list of your duties. It needs to show your impact. Don't just tell them what you were responsible for. Show them what you achieved. Look at the difference here. The second statement doesn't just list a task, it solves a problem and gives a number. That's what makes a hiring manager stop scrolling. And then when you land that interview, you're going to get those "tell me about a time when" questions. The STAR method is your secret weapon here. It gives you a simple, clear structure for your answers so you can provide real evidence and powerful results instead of just vague claims. Situation, task, action, and always end with the result.
Okay, so we've covered the mindset shift and the practical tools. Now, let's just bring it all together and talk about how to approach this whole journey with the right attitude.
I really want you to let this one sink in. This whole process, it's about so much more than just getting a paycheck. It's about taking all of your skills, all of your experience, all of your value, and successfully translating it into a new culture, a new context. It's about claiming your professional space here. So, where do you start? I know this can all feel overwhelming, so let's cut through all the noise. Let's focus on just 3 things. 3 simple, powerful actions you can take right now to get the ball rolling. And here they are. 3 totally manageable steps. First, take 15 minutes and do that personal SWOT analysis to get some clarity. Second, open your CV, find just one bullet point that lists a duty, and rewrite it as a powerful achievement. And third, just take one small networking step on LinkedIn this week. Maybe it's a comment on an interesting post or connecting with one new person. See, these small actions are what move you from just listening and learning to actually making progress.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. The path forward is there. The strategies work, the tools are ready. It's all manageable if you just take it one step at a time. So the only question left is the one right here. What's your first step going to be?